Tonight, police and NDC on collision course over Occupy Bank of Ghana protest, with the police insisting that it will not allow the protesters anywhere near the central bank, with less than 24 hours to go before the NDC hits the streets.
The security assessment conducted by the police service, the Bank of Ghana is a security zone, and we've advised the organizers accordingly. And if they have any dissatisfaction with the police proposal to them, they are allowed to go to the court.
We hear from the party as they warn they will resist any intimidation by the police service. And top story is always brought to you by Vodafone. It has been dubbed the Occupy BoG Protest, but in the last few minutes, the police has announced they will not allow the NDC and its protesters anywhere near the central bank. The protest had been called to force the resignation of the central bank governor and his deputies over the management of the economy. Listen to the police addressing a rare news conference a short while ago.
Questions, I'll refer all of us to what the Public Order Act provides. And among other things, it provides that when the police has been served with a notice for a protest, the service is to conduct a security assessment of the routes and the locations proposed. And when the police has concerns that following these routes can endanger public safety, public order, and the provision of essential services, the police is able to ask or request of the organizers to make changes to their proposed routes. And the act, I must say, envisage a situation where the police and organizers might not come to a good compromise. And for that matter, the provision of the law court was made that when there is a disagreement between the two parties, the police can go to court, and so can the organizers go to court for a determination. So per the security assessment conducted by the police service, the Bank of Ghana is a security zone, and we've advised the organizers accordingly. And if they have any dissatisfaction with the police proposal to them, they are allowed to go to the court so that the court determines the matter.
Colleague Kweku Asante was at that news conference and joins us right now. Kweku, did you get a sense, and you asked this question, that what we just heard the police articulate is something that he agreed with the protesters in these meetings that she referred to?
Yes, Evans, indeed. That is exactly what ACP Grace Akofi has been talking about. She says that the agreement is with the minority leadership is in place. They do not expect any protester to go close. And Evans, the context is key because for the last 1 month, the minority has been struggling to go ahead with this protest. The initial plan was to actually picket the headquarters of the Bank of Ghana head office. But because the Ghana Police Service will not allow this, they've had to go back and forth, court so many times. In fact, yesterday, the leaders of the minority were in court with the police over all these root issues. And so, according to the police, the agreement now is for the protesters to converge at Obrasport in Circle here in Accra and march towards some part of the principal streets of the Central Business District, but terminate the protest at the Independence Square. They will not be allowed anywhere near the Bank of Ghana headquarters. And according to ACP Grace Akofi Ansah, this is the agreement with the minority.
Per our agreements with the minority group, the demonstrators will converge at the Obrasco Kwame Nkrumah Circle and proceed to Adabraka to reach roundabout, National Theatre traffic light, High Court Complex traffic light, to Atta Mills Highway, and make a U-turn at the National Lotteries and terminate at the Independence Square. The road from the Independence Square in front of the National Lotteries towards the Old Parliament traffic lights will be blocked temporarily to vehicular traffic during the course of the demonstration. The blocked roads will be diverted through the Starlet traffic lights, through the Ministry's traffic lights, to pass in front of the office of the Department of Urban Roads, through the National Lotteries, to link up with the AMA Road to Iyoko, to take a detour back to the John Evans Atta Mills Highway at the Old Parliament traffic intersection.
And Kweku will stay with me. I want to bring in the minority leader, Dr. Keselato Forsing, who joins us right now. Dr. Forsing, thanks for your time here on Top Story.
Evans, good evening.
You just had the police address the news conference a short while ago. Is that what you agreed?
Not exactly, Evans. Evans, I can confirm to you that obviously we've had back and forth engagement with the Ghana Police Service. Come rain or shine tomorrow, that the protest will happen. We'll indeed start from Circle Brasports. We'll go through Adabraka. We will be going through the new Bank of Ghana head office. We will be coming all the way to the Ridge Roundabout. We'll turn a right to the National Theatre and do a left turn towards the court complex. And then we'll go into the Atta Mills High Street and we'll go to where their security zone ends, and then we'll do a U-turn there. We are of the view that if the police, obviously because of the numbers of people that are going to go to the protest, they are worried about, and that they think that they can contain the numbers, at the minimum, the leadership of minority must be allowed to go to the Bank of Ghana and present a petition to the governor himself. It is part of our constitutional responsibilities, and I think no one should stop us from doing that function. We have to be given opportunity to be able to see the governor himself. The petition is to the governor, calling on him to resign immediately, because we all know what he's done. He has printed money in excess of the requirement of the law. He has written off government debt without recourse to parliament. He has run our economy aground, and obviously we cannot allow him to be in office. But I'm surprised that the police are of the view that no one will go to the Bank of Ghana. We will do a U-turn at some point. We are not going to Independence Square. The protesters will go to Independence Square. That is where we will disperse. But we'll do a U-turn on the Atta Mills High Street. As to where that U-turn will happen, I don't know. But what I can be assured is that the leadership of the minority must be allowed to go to the Bank of Ghana to see the governor. That is the minimum that we can agree on.
This particular aspect, was this specifically discussed with the police and agreed, the presentation of the petition?
We discussed with the police in terms of the route. The police informed us that obviously the Bank of Ghana is a security zone, and that they will not be able to allow a large number of people to go to the central bank. Yes, we asked them to inform us where exactly is the end of the security zone. We sat there for over 1.5 hours. They could not inform us. So we said to them that we will match the numbers to the end of the security zone. But at the minimum, the leadership of the NDC minority and organizers must be allowed, without the protesters, to go into the central bank and to present our petition to the governor himself. It is part of our democratic duties, and we have to do that.
I get a sense that this presentation of petition bit of the protest is something you're hoping to negotiate with the police tomorrow during the protest. That hasn't been agreed yet fully.
Well, we will the protest is certainly going to happen, rain or shine. We're on course. We will be moving to the brass port as early as 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. The march starts exactly 8 o'clock. We hope that by the end of the day, the leadership of this minority will get to the central bank.
Do you accept the explanation given by the police, though, that they've done an assessment and this area is a security zone and that's why they can't allow anybody close?
Well, they are the police service. We respect their responsibilities. And obviously, we can only go with their explanation. But that doesn't necessarily mean that we should agree with them. I don't agree with them. I think in any case, this won't be the first bank that an ordinary citizen has protested nearby the bank. I mean, it has happened so many places. We've seen it in America, we've seen it in England, and obviously going to the central bank is something that we believe that they should give us an opportunity to go there. The only thing I can say is that if per the assessment and the security risk, they think the numbers that we are obviously going to carry to the central bank may be too much for them. They should tell us where the security zone ends, and we'll let the protesters stay there. But certainly, a handful of us, making up of the leadership, must be allowed to go to the central bank.
And if the police refuse that request?
Well, let's hope and see. And I think that is something that we cannot say that they won't agree. And the government himself must be there to accept or to receive our petition. No one else. We want the governor himself to appear before us and take the petition from us.
Have you informed the governor of this?
Of Parliament, and we are protesting and we are going to the central bank. He should be the one. He should not send anybody. He should be the one to come and receive the petition from us. And that is what we are demanding.
Has the governor himself been officially informed of this?
The police has a responsibility to inform him.
Because you expect him to, calm down and receive your petition.
Exactly.
He's a very busy man.
We informed the police about it when we met with them.
But you admit it's not the police's job to facilitate a presentation of a petition to
the because they are the ones that have said that the place is a security zone and that they want us to terminate at a certain point. It is up to them to tell us that their security assessment where exactly they want us to terminate. But at the minimum, the leadership, and I repeat, the leadership of the NDC minority and members of parliament must be allowed into the central bank for us to present our petition to the governor himself, and he should be the one to receive it.
You talk about the confines of the security zone and the boundaries of it. The police is very clear that once you get to the old parliament, you make a detour and head to the Independence Square. For them, that's where the boundaries end. That's as far as you can go.
So does that mean that is the beginning or the end of the security zone?
It appears that's the end, because then you have to make a detour and return.
Then that will mean that the protesters will have to terminate at that point, and the leadership of the NDC minority must be allowed to go into the central bank without the protesters.
As we speak tonight, though, I notice that you have been having these conversations with the police, has been to court. I'm curious why this actual presentation of the petition didn't come up for some agreement in all the processes you've been engaging with the police, even at the courts.
Unfortunately, the police wanted to stop the demonstration entirely with a view that the place is a security zone and we should not be allowed to demonstrate. At one point, the police said to court, and it is in the affidavit, that apparently because they are afraid of coup d'etat and the environment generally isn't good for a protest, and so we should not be allowed to demonstrate at all. Clearly, that is not something that we will accept. And at one point, they were looking to serve another process on us after we've gone to court, and the court has said that we should go and renegotiate and come back. And certainly, they haven't been forthright with us. We later on went to them, agreed on another route. I wrote a letter to them. They wrote back to me. The letter that I shared publicly, there is nowhere that we said that we would do, a U-turn at a particular point in time. But our position is that, yes, since they are claiming that that is the beginning of the security zone, the protesters may end there. But the leadership of Parliament must be allowed into the central bank to present our petition.
And your expectation from this, you call it the Occupy BoG, but you fundamentally want the central bank governor and the two deputies to resign on the back of this protest. I mean, many would describe that as a bit of a wishful thinking that would actually force their resignation.
Well, look, this is the first of the series of actions that we are going to take. We may repeat the demonstration. We may begin processes in Parliament that will remove the governor and the deputies. So let's start from tomorrow and let's see what happens.
And your plan, from what I've seen a statement also from the youth wing of the party, and you've asked the youth across the country to show up. Are we going to see the busing of protesters down south to assist with this protest?
I cannot confirm that, but what I know is that we have engaged communities across Greater Accra, and even today we'll continue with our community engagement. And I believe that the message has really sunk, and ordinary Ghanaian believes and knows exactly what the governor and the two deputies have done. And for that reason, I'm aware that they are going to turn up. I'm going to see a huge number of Ghanaian youth joining us tomorrow to the central bank.
Thank you very much. That's Dr. Keselato Forsing, and Dr. Keselato Forsing is the minority leader. Well, the NDC Youth Wing, they've issued a statement on the back of what they're anticipating will be a significant protest tomorrow. My colleague joins me in the studio right now, Papa Nia Shali, with details of this particular statement. Also with me right now is my colleague, Kweku Asante, who's still with me. Kweku, the police today also laid out a very elaborate plan, and it appears they're going all out to ensure that the streets are flooded by police officers.
Yes, Evans, the questions we're asking the police, and the press conference just ended, is how many policemen are you deploying to this protest to ensure that there is utmost security? The police are refusing to put out a specific numbers, but they are saying that there will be enough policemen on the streets to ensure that this protest goes ahead as planned without any hitch, without any let or hindrance. They are saying that they've prepared for 5,000 protesters, but have actually also made plans for a contingency in case the numbers they are underestimating this 5,000 number. And so as far as they are concerned, there will be enough policemen and women in town tomorrow to ensure that this protest goes ahead as planned, and also that the protesters adhere to the rules. The police appear to have learned their lessons from the Occupy Jolobi House protest. And that's the question we have been asking, for instance, as to whether or not they've learned their lessons. They say that they have, and they've conducted a thorough review of that process, that event, and are going to ensure that those events do not recur tomorrow.
And quickly, just for clarity, did you say they're going to deploy 5,000 police officers?
They are preparing for 5,000 protesters.
5,000
They are
protesters.
refusing to put out the specific number of policemen and women who are going to be there. But they are saying that as far as they are concerned, they are trying to match the number of protesters in town. And not only that, they are making contingency for that in case the numbers have been underestimated by them. So as far as they are concerned, there will be enough policemen and women in town tomorrow to safeguard this process, to ensure that the rules agreed is adhered to, and there will be no incidents after tomorrow.
Police has been working with the minority group for some time now towards this demonstration. And at this note, I wish to take the opportunity to thank the minority group, the leaders, the organizers, for their cooperation so far with the police service. As we appreciate them, we wish to also state that the police service as an institution has been committed to providing security for all demonstrations across the country. And as you are aware, we have a track record of ensuring the safety and security of demonstrators at all times. And this particular demonstration scheduled for tomorrow is no exception. As always, we have deployed our men. We've been training, rehearsing, preparing, so that we can deliver the best form of security to the organizers and the demonstrators, and also to other users of our roads and other members of the motoring public and all other members of the public who may be going about their normal duties who are not necessarily involved in the demonstration. To ensure this, we've deployed personnel across the various routes, the starting point, the routes, and the destination for the demonstrations. Also, we've deployed adequate logistics in place, ready to ensure that every Ghanaian citizen who shows up on the streets to exercise their constitutional right to demonstrate is protected, is guaranteed safety and security.
And that's for you also. If you want to use that area tomorrow, just note that there's going to be traffic there. The police say they're going to be deploying enough men to ensure that you have a smooth passage through that particular area. But also bear that in mind as you make your way through that part of town. Papa, very quickly, the youth wing of the NDC issued a statement.
Yes, Evans, and I'll just give you bits and pieces of it, especially the last 3 paragraphs. Now, it says that in the face of this historic opportunity, we cannot falter. Let the flame of our collective discontent illuminate the path to a brighter future. Tomorrow is not just a protest. It is a revolution, a bold statement that we will not be silenced, that the youth of Ghana will reclaim their rightful place in the reshaping of our nation's destiny. Evans, the last one emphatically says, in unity, in defiance, and in hope, we march. Tomorrow, let the streets echo with the footsteps of the young and the brave, for this is not just a protest. It is a seismic shift, a call to arms that reverberates through the corridors of power. Finally, come prepared tomorrow that in case the police attempts to assault the protesting public, demanding justice from those who have sunk our country so low, we will defend ourselves and this republic at the peril of our lives.
Papa, thank you very much. I want to bring in security analyst Dr. Ishmael Norma. He's a senior research fellow at the Ghana Armed Forces Command Center. Thank you, Dr. Norman, for your time here on Top Story. Hello, Dr. Norman. Okay, I may have lost him there. I'll bring him back. Also, joining us pretty shortly, get a legal perspective on this Samson Lada. As you may have heard, the police say if the NDC, if they are grieved at their decision, the police's decision not to allow them close to the central bank itself, then they can go to court and get a court to render an interpretation and a judgment on this particular matter. Dr. Norman joins us right now. Hello, Dr. Norman. Thanks for your time here on Top Story.
You're welcome.
The police say the central bank area, the vicinity there, is a security zone. What's your take on that?
Evans, I think sometimes in Ghana we want to do things that are actually not acceptable internationally. Every treasury house in every country is a security zone. Even though there was Occupy Wall Street demonstration, Wall Street, nobody keeps money physically on the grounds Wall Street, New York. So if they allow demonstrators to go there, it is no skin of the back of the operators and the managers of Wall Street edifice. But the central bank is a very important place. So you cannot just simply go and demonstrate there. What is it that you want to say that cannot be said anywhere else except at the central bank? This one, I am not associating myself with the demonstrators. You can demonstrate anywhere, but it doesn't have to be in the very treasury where we keep Ghana's money. It's wrong. It is really wrong. And that's all I can say. It's a security zone. They have to accept it and end the demonstration where the police want it to be ended. Because after all, what is it that you want to say? You want to speak to the money in the treasury at the central bank? Is that it?
The minority leader just indicated that they would at least would want a few of them among the leadership.
You have to increase your voice a bit because
can you hear me? Can you hear me? Is it better? The minority leader says a short while ago that at least they want a few of them among the leadership to be allowed to send a petition to the Bank of Ghana governor himself at his office. Is that okay with you as far as your security assessment is concerned of this area?
I think going to the central bank is totally a no-no. Can you do this in America? Fort Knox, you can go to Fort Knox, you can go to New York Central Treasury and then demonstrate there. I mean, please, let's be real. You have the right to express your will as a citizen. You have the right to criticize government. You have the right to demonstrate. But there are certain specific areas that you should not be permitted to go at all. And one of them is the central bank. So for me, I support the demonstration as a right of every citizen, part of the inalienable right. However, the central bank is out of place. I'm surprised that I'm speaking for the Ghana police, because normally I don't do this. But I think they are demanding a bit too much, and I think that should not be allowed.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ishmael Norman, Senior Research Fellow, Ghana Armed Forces Command Center. I want to bring in Samson Lada, a lawyer and colleague here, and something very quickly. The police say, well, if the demonstrators, if they are not happy, they can go to court. As far as the law is concerned, and the police reference the Public Order Act, are they on firm grounds here, the police?
It's not for the demonstrators to go to court. If they serve the demonstrators the notice of their disagreement with the route to take, and the demonstrators also disagree with it, the law requires that the demonstrators, once they have been informed, within 42 hours, should also write to the police accepting or telling the police that they do not accept or they disagree with the police. From what she's saying, I will suspect that they had told the group in good time enough. If they had told them in good time enough, and 42 hours have come to pass, and the group has not written back to indicate their unwillingness as far as the redirection is concerned, then it is the group that is not complying with law. And if you do not comply with the law according to the Public Order Act, and you conduct yourself in a manner that the law says it's one that is not in compliance with the law, then you are likely, to cause the police to cause your arrest and to prosecute you accordingly. And by the law, you'll be looking to, if you are found guilty, you'll be looking to pay about, 3,000 Ghana cedis maximum, or that plus prison term of about a year. But I think that we ought to make this very clear. And I think that, Dr. Norman, we cannot be agreeing with the police and saying once they say a place is a security zone, it means a security zone is out of access. I think that's completely wrong. Nowhere in the world is it established that a place that is designated as a security zone means you cannot take a demonstration there. In this case, they are not saying, from what we have heard, they are not saying they are taking the demonstration there. They say give them some of the leaders the opportunity to go there. What's wrong with that? What's the biggest security zone than the White House? So please, let's not take the police's word and simply say once they say it's a security zone, it means a security zone means that you cannot access the place.
Something, thank you very much. And that's something Lada Yini is lawyer here. Newsnight in a minute.
Ever visited a shop, picked a whole basket